Yo, what is going on? GGEN, Gen Nation, YouTube, and now Podbean. How's everybody doing today? We got a lot to talk about today, and this is episode 16 of the Multiversal podcast. If you are new to the channel, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you're following us on all the podcast channels that wherever you decide you want to listen to the podcast. Do the damn thing. We are all over the place. We're on all, the major players as far as podcast apps go. And we are now adding ourselves to Pandora and Stitcher. We are also again live on Podbean as well, and this episode will be on Podbean. So we're hitting you from all over. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get this out of the way real quick, and that would be we have merch available. Merch is available. If you look in the description, the link will be there. You can grab shirts, hoodies, mugs, cups, whatever. Everything purchased goes right back into the stream to help us better our quality for you. It'd be greatly appreciated. Plus, you get some dope gear. Johnny Butters, what is up, my man? Welcome, welcome. So, like I said, we do have an action-packed episode. It's a very entertainment-heavy episode, not as much gaming. We're going to be heavy with gaming next episode for sure, because God of War will be out, Warzone will be out. Next episode is going to be very gaming focused for sure. But there's plenty still to talk about, and we'll get through it. So right off the bat, we're going to dive into the entertainment verse and give you a little X-23 action. No, she's not coming back into the MCU anytime soon. But she is joining the Star Wars universe, and the actress Daphne Keane, who plays X-23, is going to be in the Acolytes show that's coming to Disney Plus. Star Wars Acolytes. So I don't remember if we have an official date on that yet, but she will be a part of it. And if you're paying attention to the Star Wars shows, Andor, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, and we got Ahsoka coming. All these shows are top tier Star Wars content. So I can't see Acolytes being any different, and Daphne is a good actress. If you watched her in Logan as X-23, she was awesome. So I'm excited for that. She should be a good addition to the show. And yeah, next up is this is an interesting one. It's a weird one. The Equalizer 3. Now, I feel like this story kind of flew under the radar, and not many people are talking about it, or at least that I've seen or heard. The head caterer for Equalizer was found dead in his hotel. He apparently died of a heart attack. So, and if you don't know, The Equalizer is filming in Italy at the moment, or was at the time. So the Italian police, found, went through, investigated the scene and everything, and found cocaine in his pockets. They also found 120 grams of coke in the caterer's apartments. So this resulted in not only the head caterer passing due to probably a heart attack from the coke, but the 2 other caterers that were working the movie, they were on scene when the cops rolled up and arrested them, got arrested for being somewhat involved in the coke game, which then makes you involved in this dude's heart attack death. That's wild. That's a wild story to me, and I feel like not many people are talking about it that I've seen. You're trying to film a movie. You're in this full-blown production abroad in Italy, filming scenes. You got caterers trying to pump out food, and they're also pumping out cocaine and dying of heart attacks. It's just like, what? I don't mean to laugh at the guy dying hard. I'm just like that whole scenario is just ridiculous. Yeah. What did you guys think of that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in Podbean if you're with us. But that's an odd one. That is an odd one. That's not something you normally hear in a movie production. You know what I mean? At least they bury it, or they try to. Next up we have that is that. Never mind. Next up is Titans. Titans episode 1 and 2 is out. I think episode 3 comes out tonight, if I'm not mistaken, or it comes out Friday. I don't remember, but they dropped 2 of them, and right off the bat, and I have to say, from what I'm hearing, and I haven't watched these episodes yet, I'll be all caught up for, the next episode, episode 17, in a couple weeks. But from what I'm hearing is Lex Luthor is pretty awesome, and the fact that they are adding Lex Luthor to the Titans is amazing. I gotta say, Matthew Broderick, as much as I didn't think he was right for Lex Luthor, he crushed it as Lex Luthor on the CW. I thought he did phenomenal, and it kind of sucks that he, isn't able to reprise that role, because he really did a good job being extremely smart, portraying that he's extremely smart and just diabolical. Like, yeah. Everything he does, there's like hidden meanings and agendas and plans and all kinds of weird stuff going on. So yeah, it was sad to not, hear that he was coming back. But with that being said, the person that is playing Lex is Titus Welliver, and he's from that show Bosch. He's in all kinds of shows. The dude's a hell of an actor, and if what I'm hearing is correct, that Lex is amazing, yeah, it's got to be, because obviously, well, the writing, for me personally, the writing is good, but it's also the actor's delivery, and there's no one better than Titus Welliver. So I can see him portraying a pretty solid Lex. So I'm curious how I feel about it after I watch these first 3 episodes. But yeah, Titans, and we're gonna stick with HBO Max, because that is where you can watch the Titans, and we're gonna talk about HBO Max / Discovery Plus, the merger. Discovery Plus and HBO Max, if you don't know, is merging. They are forming, they're combining all their content, and they are forming a singular streaming platform. So all the HBO stuff and Discovery Plus, all that stuff, instead of it being separate, we're going to get a single streaming network, which is good if you are subscribed to both platforms, because now you'll just have to subscribe to the one and get all the content on the one. It's gonna make things simpler. It's gonna add a boatload of content, regardless which way they move the the product to. But this is with the success that HBO Max or the DC properties and all the new ramp ups and stuff like that, they're making HBO Max, they're pushing the developers to really get this new streaming service out, and we're gonna get this around spring 23. It was supposed to come in like the late summer fall of 23, but it's looking more like early spring, mid-spring. We're gonna get this. Johnny Butter says you will be in shock what happened in the first 2 episodes. I can't wait. He's talking about the Titans. So yeah, HBO Max, Discovery Plus merging, coming spring 23. And if you're watching on YouTube, you see a nice graphic that shows HBO Max and Netflix. And the reason for Netflix is they launched their ad tier subscription, their ad tier plan. And what a hot mess this is. Sure, if you want a little bit of Netflix and you want to watch ads to get it cheaper, sure, I get it. If you want to save money, I get it. But apparently you're not getting the full Netflix library if you have the ad tier plan. The movie production companies like MGM and all these other companies that have rights to their movies and is allowing Netflix to have these movies, they're not allowing Netflix to make ad revenue off of their movies. So you can't watch an MGM movie and watch these ads and have all that money get directed to Netflix from watching those ads. They don't want. So the only way that they're allowing these movies is if you pay for the higher subscription to get the full library. So it makes it interesting. It's like, sure, do you want to save a couple bucks and get the ad revenue plan and miss out on all, like, for example, there's even some which doesn't even make sense. I think I saw like Cobra Kai, which is a Netflix original show now. You can't even watch that on the ad revenue on the ad tier plan. It makes no sense. Yo, Fly Life in the building. So yeah, you might want to save the money, but be very, very careful with what you decide on picking, because if you go with the ad tier plan, you might be very frustrated and want to upgrade to the higher plans to get the full library back, because it seems like you're going to miss out on a lot. And you got to deal with ads on top of that. So do your homework before you make the switch. That's all I got to say. I was going to have an image pop up for Wakanda Forever, but I'll just briefly mention it. Wakanda Forever's soundtrack came out. Now we know the movie comes out Thursday, and I will be going to see it and I believe the other GGEN members will be seeing it on Thursday as well. So you will hear our thoughts on it on the theater room following, which is a Tuesday that follows the release day. So stay tuned for that, and make sure you're following us on TikTok so you get our instant, spoiler-free reactions to them or reviews. But regardless of all that, the movie's coming out Thursday. Wakanda Forever soundtrack comes out. And for me, what made the experience of Black Panther the first time amazing was incorporating the soundtrack to the movie. And the soundtrack was produced and basically completely done by Kendrick Lamar. He was basically on every track, if I'm not mistaken. Kendrick Lamar had the reins for the soundtrack, and it's probably one of the best albums Kendrick Lamar has ever put out for me personally. I enjoyed that album way more than I enjoyed his other albums. It was a fantastic movie soundtrack, and we are not getting that in Wakanda Forever. We are getting Rihanna for one song. We are getting E40 for one song. We're getting, a lot of it looked like Spanish song. The soundtrack was just all over the place. Not one song from Kendrick on it, which I find odd. You at least maybe have him do one song, right? He did do a whole album for your movie the first time. So, I don't know. I don't really know what to think about it. I briefly listened to the album, and for me, it's not for me. It's not for me at all. I didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. But hey, to each their own. To each their own. This next, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty and a couple entertainment topics here. This is a big one. James Gunn and The Rock are kind of feuding with the direction of DC. As you know, The Rock just came out with Black Adam, which, if you paid attention to what we all had to say, I'm apparently the only person who enjoyed the movie, which doesn't make sense to me because it's a fun movie. If you don't expect it to be like crazy, like I don't know what people were expecting with Black Adam. It was just a really fun movie to watch, and I have to say, I was very surprised. I thought he did well. I thought some of the other characters, like Dr. Fate, knocked it out of the park. I like the twist, with the villain at the end and stuff like that. But The Rock has been promoting Black Adam as like a shift in power, as the DCU is going in a direction, and The Rock is the one driving it. Well, now there's a new driver, and that is James Gunn. And The Rock's ideas are similar to Gunn's ideas, but not quite, and they're kind of feuding. Obviously The Rock is a big profile actor now. He's a big personality in Hollywood, and he wants control. He wants to be able to, dictate what goes on. And James Gunn is pretty much telling him, like, nah, that's not what we're doing. That is not what we're doing. Which is interesting because their ideas are very similar. But basically, The Rock wants to have Black Adam versus the Justice League and versus Suicide Squad, like a whole major action-packed superhero clash. That, to be honest, sounds like Secret Wars. He wants just like every DC property fighting each other, going after Black Adam or something. And James Gunn kind of has a similar vision where he wants to build, the Justice League out again. He wants to utilize the Suicide Squad, but he has a twist on it where he's gonna have Amanda Waller be the Thanos level villain, which is interesting because, you know, Thanos is a big space invading, I'm about population control, you know, he's an alien as far as Earthlings go. He's just a big powerful force that's, you know, trying to kill half the population in the whole universe, right? Amanda Waller is just trying to do the government's job, basically, but she does it in such a way that is frowned upon. And that's always been Amanda Waller's thing. She's going to get the job done, but you're not going to like the way she does it, right? So, Fly Life says, I need to watch Black Adam. Absolutely, buddy. I thought it was fun. If you enjoy rock movies, you're going to enjoy Black Adam. So Amanda Waller is trying, I guess they're going to make her, or they want to make her somewhat the Thanos villain, where the big story, the overall big story of the DCU is building up Amanda Waller and then breaking her down, right? I guess, where she's in control of a lot of things on the government side to the point where it gets her into trouble and she needs to get herself out of this trouble, right? And the idea is basically she uses the Suicide Squad, which is, you know, they're a government entity at this point, but Amanda Waller controls the bombs in their heads, so they're very loyal to Amanda Waller, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. If, you know, you put a bomb in my neck or my head, I'm gonna listen to what you say. So the idea is that the Suicide Squad is tasked to help Amanda Waller get out of trouble, you know, kill off witnesses, do whatever they got to do. And that's where the Justice League comes in, and it becomes, you know, Justice League versus Suicide Squad type of thing. Justice League versus Amanda Waller, and I think that James Gunn wants to use Black Adam, you know, sparingly, have him fit in when it counts, and then have like another, I guess, sequel movie type where it's just, you know, about him, or, you know, going after him or whatever. Where The Rock wants to be the focal point of this big clash. James Gunn is like, nah, you're gonna be a piece of it, which I agree with Gunn. Like, don't get me wrong, The Rock, you know, they're sharing similar, you know, visions, but Black Adam isn't a centerpiece character as much as The Rock wants it to be. So he needs to, you know, he needs to pop into the movies when it's required, and when there's a big time story involving Black Adam, yeah, that's going to be your thing. But they are not agreeing with this at all, obviously. So it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, once we get like a couple months into Gunn's, you know, new job running the show, basically running the studio. Maybe even at, you know, Comic-Con. If they're probably they skipped DC Fan Fest this year, I believe. So maybe Comic-Con next year, we're gonna get a DCU roadmap of what's to come in, I would just imagine, in a DC phase. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where this goes. But yeah, so Amanda Waller is the ideal villain for the DCU at the moment, in Gunn's eyes, at least. That's what he's kind of pondering. And he's gonna have, you know, Black Adam and Suicide Squad going after Justice League, and it's gonna be a shit show. But it should be fun to watch. He also said he's open to an idea, and he's already in talks with Kevin Feige about a possible DC verse MCU, DC versus Marvel type of movie, you can't have every character of these universes going at each other. So you'd probably think it would be Justice League versus Avengers, but there's got to be, you got to be able to balance the teams, because as soon as you add Superman to a team, that I'm sorry, as much as Superman is cool and all, like, and sometimes he can be, you know, extremely boring with how, you know, justice he wants to be. Like everything's for justice, and he's such a goody two shoe. If he really wants to, he can just annihilate everyone and just not even bother with the fight. Just annihilate everyone. It doesn't matter. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how we're gonna get it. I hope they pick the right characters to fight each other, and they make it somewhat of a balanced fight on both sides, where one's not too overpowered than the other, and strengths and weaknesses type thing, and they really make it work, because that would be a really fun movie. It would be good for the fans, good for everybody, I think, involved. But that can't be like something soon. That needs to be when, let DC get their shit together, and then let them talk to Marvel about doing some crazy crossover event, because that'd be fun. Speaking of Marvel, we're gonna get into the next topic, and that is that is going to be the Russo brothers. Are the Russo brothers about to come back and take control of the X-Men? Superman is too OP for that, Flylife says. Yeah, he's extremely OP. Johnny Butter says, I'm planning on going to New York Comic Con next year. Hell yeah. I'll see you there, buddy. And if you're joining us on Podbean, I see you out there. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I don't know if you want me to shout you out. He says, good evening, GGENetwork. Chris Wilson, appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome. So yeah, the Russo brothers. We know they said basically in an interview that they're not going to be ready to come back to Marvel till the end of the decade. What we know about Marvel, from what they told us at Comic-Con, is basically the roadmap of phase 4 through 6 is ending in 2026, right? So in 2026, we're going to have Secret Wars and all this stuff go off, and that's probably going to introduce, you know, a lot of X-Men characters. That's the theory. There's going to be a lot of X-Men characters coming through, and we're going to have basically phase 7, when that whole story, the multiverse saga, ends, right? Phase 7 is going to kick off the mutant saga. That is the running theory. And now that mutants are alive and well in the MCU, the mutant saga is going to kick off. And phase 7 is going to be 2027, 2028, right? 2029, depending on how long they want it to go, which, if you're paying attention, is the end of the decade. So if the Russos are telling you they're not going to be ready till the end of the decade to come back to Marvel because of, you know, projects or whatever else they're working on, and the mutant saga is starting at the end of the decade, then you're going to have the Russo brothers controlling the mutant saga, controlling X-Men, controlling what's gonna, you know, they're gonna lead the ship basically, like they did for the later part of the Infinity Saga with Captain America and Endgame, Infinity War. Like, all their movies were top tier Marvel movies. Some of the best that's in that whole saga. It was basically Russo brothers, Civil Wars, everything like that. They're top tier, and they're taking a long break from you know, doing Marvel stuff, which is understandable because they spent a lot of time doing it. But if they're ready to come back and they want to run the show, and they want They want to control the X-Men. It just gets me excited because I just want a good ass Gambit. I want a good ass Gambit. The title is misleading. We just went on a giant GunnvsRock talk, and now we're gonna we're dipping into other topics. So yeah, I'm all for the Russos taking over X-Men, taking over the mutants in phase 7 or 8 or whatever, however long the mutant saga is going to be. So that's exciting. Let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be Back to the Future. Back to the Future, yes. Are we getting a Back to the Future 4? Now, I know the original producer or director, I think it was producer actually, said no, you know, the trilogy is a trilogy, right? But Doc Brown tweets out, I don't know if you follow him, but he tweets out basically that something big is coming, and you wouldn't think anything of it, right? But the fact that he says Great Scott, something big is coming, tells you it's involving Back to the Future. And then, you know, Michael J. Fox kind of, you know, said something, you know, something is brewing basically, and we're gonna get, I want to say, I don't want to call it a reboot, because if they're involved, you're not rebooting it. You're just continuing the story through other people's eyes now that these characters are older and off, right? And it's kind of like Creed. Creed isn't a reboot. Creed is just an extension to the Rocky story using other characters. If they go that route with Back to the Future, I'm all for it. If you have, you know, the random cameo in the first movie and then let the new actors take over, that would be amazing. So I'd be super excited for that, because I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Big Chief, I also want to thank you for jumping in. Thank you. But Chris Wilson liked the show. Appreciate that. Welcome as well. And yeah, so Back to the Future 4, I don't know. A new trilogy with new actors, sure. I'm all for it. So let's see how this plays out, because that's going to be interesting. And that's going to end the entertainment verse. Chris, and whoever's listening on Podbean, if you are new to this podcast, we don't talk about just one topic. We bounce around. We got a lot of entertainment news to hit up, and we dabble, you know, in various other topics. There's also a large portion of the show that is involving gaming, and we are going to switch over to the gaming side now, and we're going to start it off with some COD. You know, there's a couple updates, and I just kind of want to talk about my experience playing it since it came out last week. For me personally, Modern Warfare 2 is, as far as the campaign goes, it's one of, if not the best campaign they've ever come out with, in my opinion. Visually, it looked incredible. The missions in night vision, the missions where you're in the ghillie suit, crawling, sniping, missions where you're trying to be stealthy, you're underwater, you're in the AC-130, like so many awesome moments. And the acting in the story was phenomenal, from the cartel to the military to Price, to Ghost. Like, you were crafting items. You were in some missions, you were surviving. You had to craft missions to pry things out, craft items to pry things open. You had to craft makeshift bombs. You had to craft like smoke grenades. Like, it was so cool, the little things that they added to make Call of Duty, this Call of Duty in particular, unique. So I was super excited to see that added, and that that to me was like, wow, this is amazing. It was just a totally different experience for Call of Duty. So from a campaign side, it was amazing. I can't say anything bad about it. On the multiplayer side, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Some maps I need to learn more, but overall, the gunplay's the gunplay. It's always top notch with Call of Duty. Certain guns, you know, play better than others, but the maps so far I'm feeling are pretty balanced as far as, you know, the directions you want to run. If you want to go left, up the middle, to the right, there's a lot of, you know, second tiers and buildings and stuff you can kind of move around, climb, go upstairs, downstairs, whatever, different levels. It's not just flat. It's not, there's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of different, you know, angles and stuff you can work with. The maps are pretty unique. The maps look good. So for me personally, you know, the multiplayer is hitting the mark. There is updates coming to the multiplayer. We're going to get the return of my favorite mode from the previous Modern Warfare, which was a gunfight. Gunfight, if you don't know, was a 2v2 multiplayer mode where you can have tournaments, basically. You had, and it would be you and a partner, and it would be a best of 5, I believe. It was a best of 5 matches, right? No, I'm sorry. It was a best of 7. First one to win 4 matches. And you basically did a tournament style, bracket style, and it was some of the most fun I've had, because it was really a true teamwork experience with your partner. And you had to, you know, once you get shot, you're down. There's no coming back. And so you had to clutch it 1v2. And it was just a fun, unique experience, and they're bringing that back. This week we have, I'm sorry, not this. Yes, this week, actually. We have Warzone 2 coming. Warzone 2, I believe they said they weren't going to have purchasable loadouts, but now there's going to be purchasable loadouts from what I'm seeing. I'm sorry, Warzone 2 is going to be next week, not this week coming. This week coming, they're doing another showcase of the DMZ and Warzone 2. So you're going to, if you watch on YouTube or whatever, you're going to see, you know, a few streamers in some cool friggin' Call of Duty room playing stuff that we can't play yet, but that stuff is coming next in 2 weeks, actually. So the DMZ, I'm curious to see, because that seems to be like an Escape from Tarkov type of Call of Duty experience. It's not just, you know, load in, drop in, and survive and be the last man standing and extract. It's more of, you know, surviving. It's finding better gear, surviving. And we're going to see more of it this week when they showcase it, but because we don't really know too much about the game mode other than it's coming. But from what I understand, it's Escape from Tarkov, which is it's more to it than just, you know, like I said, dropping in and being the last one out. So that's coming. Can't wait to see it. Warzone 2, can't wait to play it. And I'm going to continue rocking with the multiplayer. Mr. Butters says, we need to run back a session, you and I. Absolutely. Fly Life says, by the way, shout out to the world champion Houston Astros. God, why did I read that? Why did I read that? I'll give you a shout out because, you know, you beat Philly. I got that going for me, I guess. If Warzone 2 is Warzone 2 going to be free? Yes, it will. It is going to be free to play. So we will be doing it like we did. What's the name? Chris says, I visit new sites. Are you hosting a show Monday night? I asked you to return my call. We are doing a show Tuesday. We're doing a show Tuesday. I wasn't aware it's primarily a gaming site. The gaming site, it's not just gaming. It is entertainment. It's everything, and we got wrestling coming. We got a lot coming. So, plenty to talk about, plenty of topics. So moving on, we are going to talk about next an interesting one. This is called Blight Survival. This is a medieval survivor zombie game or something like. I don't even know how to explain this. It's based off of the gameplay of The Last of Us. So if you've ever played The Last of Us, you can see that same style of movement, that same style of fighting when you're fighting zombies, because there are zombies in this apparently. But it's a 4-player co-op action horror adventure game. And it's set in an unforgiving no man's land between two desperate states at a ceaseless war, and with zombies mixed in somehow. So there's a trailer out there. If you haven't watched the trailer yet, I highly recommend you watch it. It's very interesting. The stealthiness, the killings, all that stuff seems really cool. It's medieval times, so if you're big into the medieval times era, you get that flavor. It's co-op, so it's not going to be like For Honor, where it's just like a shit show of knights everywhere. It's going to be you're moving with purpose, I guess. There's objectives. And it could be like a continued story, maybe. I don't know. I'm curious to see more about it, but this one is catching my eye because the trailer is unique. Next up, Nintendo Switch. This is actually a fun one because in November they are dropping Majora's Mask, Super Mario 64, and Kirby 64 to the N64 expansion. If you the expansion on Nintendo Online plan. So they have quite a bit of N64 games already, which, you know, if you want to go back and relive those great games, as you know, along with Super NES and NES, we're finally getting the N64 games out of it. But we got Majora, we got Mario 64 coming, we got Kirby 64 coming. In December, we have F-Zero X, we have Yoshi's Story, and the GOAT Zelda game of all time, Ocarina of Time. That is coming in December. Perfect birthday gift for myself. Thank you very much. In January, we are getting Mario Kart 64. We're getting Paper Mario and Star Fox 64. So we got 9 N64 banger games coming to Nintendo Online. So look out for that, because we're going to try to play these on the channel and really have fun with it. And because it's online, maybe we can get some other people involved and do a whole Star Fox run or something like that, or have Mario Kart 64 battles. We can have a lot of fun with that, so look out for that. Next up, oh, the GIF isn't working. No, if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. This GIF is supposed to be a funny one. Apparently in Sonic Frontier, you can draw on the ground when you're running, right? And people are already drawing dicks in Sonic Frontier. They're speed running balls and a dick. And when you complete the dick drawing, it shoots out coins. And it's like, what? Why is that in the game? Why is that completely in the game? I don't know. The GIF was supposed to show you that. If you just, oh, that's an interesting Google, so I'm not gonna tell you to Google that, but just go to YouTube and look for Sonic Frontier coins, I guess, or Sonic Frontier drawings, and you'll see what I'm talking about. he just runs, he draws it on the ground, and boom, coins spit out. It made no sense. I'm like, what am I looking at right now? Oh, man. Next up, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Quick little update. Looks like this is coming in early 2023, probably around March is the expectation. EA put out a thing saying, you know, there's a major AAA game coming back. And the speculation is that it's going to be, you know, the return of Cal Kestis and Jedi Survivor. This is the sequel to Fallen Jedi or Fallen Order, and that game was incredible. It was an amazing Star Wars experience from start to finish, story wise and gameplay wise for me personally. So I can't wait for Jedi Survivor. See where we're kind of going next. And yeah, so that's coming early 2023, which is big time. 2023 is going to have some major game of the year contenders. So be on the lookout for that. God of War Ragnarok. Now this comes out this week. It is God of War week, and we are going to play the shit out of this on Wednesday. So stay tuned on the channel for that. So don't go anywhere. With that being said, it's already getting a 94 from Metacritic. All the critics are loving the game. A lot of them are giving 10s and stuff like that. But God of War, the first one, crushed it. Won Game of the Year. This one is already at a 94. The fans haven't even played it yet. Gamers haven't even played it yet, right? So how are the fans? I feel like we're going to be 9.8 out of 10 for this. There's always going to be the few haters, but I feel like this is going to score major, and it's probably going to win Game of the Year. It's going to go head to head with Elden Ring, and this brings up my next point. The Game Awards is December 8th this year. And we will be watching that live on the channel, so stay tuned for that as well. We will watch that live together on the channel. But my predictions for all the games of 2022 that are going to go head to head, so to speak, is going to be Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Cuphead, and Kirby. I think those 5 games, for me, I think they usually do 6, so I'm not really sure what the 6 could be. I don't know, maybe they throw on Overwatch 2 or some weird ass game. But for me, those are the heavy hitters of the year, and Elden Ring and God of War, I think, are the 2 that are going to go head to head big time and steal a lot of the votes. But when God of War comes out, there's no beating it. I'm sorry. The story, you can't top that storytelling. You can't top those visuals. You can't top just the clash of gods that happens throughout the whole game. The fighting, the gameplay, the difficulties. It's just an open world, beautiful experience all around. So that's my choice for game of the year. Obviously, I got to play it, so it might change, but I highly doubt it. But I think it's just between God of War and Elden Ring at this point. You know, the other games are, you know, we're crushing it, but at this point for me, those are the ones. And you know, lastly, I just want to say if you're looking for a good deal, Best Buy right now, last I saw, was running a buy 2 games, get 1 free. So if you haven't played like Gotham Knights or anything like that yet, and you're looking to buy 2 games, you might as well get them from Best Buy and snag that 3rd one. Get that free. There's a lot. It's only for select games, so you do have to look at the list online or in the store, but the list is a pretty good list. And it's, you know, PlayStation, Xbox. So if you have multi-systems, or if you want to get a gift for somebody now that we're in the holiday season, you could buy yourself a game. buy somebody else a game and then get a free one on top of it. So they're running that buy two get one free right now at Best Buy, so I highly recommend that. But yes, and that's going to wrap up the show. That was the Multiversal Podcast, episode 16. I appreciate everybody coming through. This was our first live show on Podbean, so I hope it sounded okay. I hope you guys heard me fine. I hope I interacted with you as expected. Feel free to let me know if you guys do want the visual experience. We're always on YouTube and Twitch, so look for us there, follow us there, and Podbean, YouTube, and everyone on the podcast channels, we thank you. We appreciate you. And yeah, we have the theater room coming back on Tuesday. We will be back with Multiversal Podcast episode 17 in 2 weeks, which will be gaming heavy. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for all the reactions and stuff like that we do on the YouTube channel as well. And yeah, thank you for joining me live. Fly, Johnny, Chris, Big Chief. Greatly appreciate it. Gen Nation, that's going to do it. We are out.